Electric now. Who knew, right? The Dow Chemical.
General Electric, which owns NBC.
Which owns, yes.
Among many other companies.
And is now getting heavy duty into the water recycling industry. Now, let me be very clear. There's a very important place for water recycling, of course. And we've got to...
What is water recycling?
Water recycling is either toilet-to-tap recycling of water, or there's now, or desalination. There's many forms of water recycling, and it's the big industry. It's the fastest growing part of the water industry, and this is the cleanup of dirty water. And my concern, and the more research I did on this, the more concerned I got, was that this government in particular in the United States, but many governments, are putting all their water eggs in the basket of cleaning up dirty water. Instead of conservation, instead of protecting water at its source, what they're coming at it, the way they're coming at it now is to clean up water after it's been polluted. And there's huge amounts of money to be made. And my concern is who's going to control that, who's going to own the water itself. When, if Coca-Cola can own the water it sells you, why wouldn't General Electric or Suez be able to say, well, we own the water that we cleaned up, and we will decide how much money we make, and we will decide how much, who gets it and who's not going to get it. So it's very much an issue of control, and also control about regulation at the other end. One of the things, Amy, that I found and really kind of surprised me, because I wrote another book called Blue Gold 6 years ago, and at the time there was no recognition at the federal level in this country that this country was in kind of crisis around water. Water now has moved right up to the top of the agenda in terms of a national security issue. The United States is as worried about water as it is about energy, and finding new and secure sources of water from around the world. And this is also true for China. China is on the search for water. It's destroyed its water table so that all the running shoes and toys in the world and so on are come from there. So they've diverted their water from watersheds and from growing grain for their people to production. And so now they're going to build a great big pipeline up to the Tibetan Himalayas. They're going to take the water that belongs to the rivers that feed all of Asia. So if you want to see a water war coming, you keep your eye on that one. But I think similarly, the United States, it's very clear, is looking to Canada, is looking to the Guarani Aquifer in Latin America around water sources. It's looking to secure water as a national security issue, just like energy, because you can't be a superpower and be running out of these essential resources. So excuse me, this is an old cold. So suddenly water has just become a huge issue.
We're talking to Maude Barlow. Her latest book is called Blue Covenant, The Global Water Crisis and the Coming Battle for the Right to Water. So you're describing the water hunters. You also talk about the water warriors.
Yes, it's a term we use to describe the global water justice movement, and it's a fabulous movement. We work with people in the global south. We work with communities across North America and Europe, people who are fighting for local control of their water, either against a local bottled water company, like in Freiburg, Maine, or in Mount Shasta in California, where these big companies come in and take away the local water, or India, where Coca-Cola has just been kicked out of several communities. We work around the world for people who are fighting against the big water transnationals who are coming in and running their water on a for-profit system and putting in meters into people's homes, or these slums generally, and telling people that they have to pay. And we've had a tremendous success. We really have created a global water justice movement that has taken off. And right now the World Bank and the World Trade Organization and the World Water Council, which has set itself up, I call it the Lords of Water, are all on the defensive and understanding and admitting that their program of privatization has been a massive failure. And now we're saying governments have to come back into the picture. We have to have public control, public transparency, and public accountability.
Maude Barlow, I want to play another excerpt of the documentary Flow for Love of Water, where the film takes us to this issue of bottled water.
Bottled water is used by millions of people around the world because they think it's safer than tap water. There is less than one person, according to the Food and Drug Administration, regulating the entire multi-billion-dollar bottled water industry in the United States. That means that that poor person does multiple things, and one of them is water. The Food and Drug Administration, if you ask them what's in any brand of bottled water, they'll say, we have no idea.
So stupid. Why would people pay such a premium for bottled water? To find out, we took over a very trendy California restaurant. We printed our own elegant water menus with phony imported waters, costing as much as $7 per bottle. Our water steward gives our first lucky couple our special water list.
I guess we'll get Le Doux Robinet.
The Le Doux Robinet?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay.
It's French for tap water.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it has a flavor to it.
How would you compare it to tap water?
Oh, yeah, definitely better than tap water.
What was the actual source of these chic waters? A garden hose on the restaurant patio.
3 out of 4 Americans drink bottled water, and 1 in 5 will only drink bottled water.
And water is something we already pay for.
Leading brands are basically tap water, often sold for more than the cost of gasoline.
So today we're here at Tufts University organizing our 40-second tap water challenge.
I thought for sure that the Dasani water was tap water.
They're spending tens of millions of dollars every year to convince us that bottled water is better than tap water, when in fact it's much less regulated.
We tested over 1,000 bottles of water, over 100 brands that are sold in the United States, and we found that it is not necessarily any safer or better or purer than your city tap water. We found some of them had arsenic in them at high levels, some of them had organic chemicals in them, a variety of bacteria. So there were problems with about 1/3 of the brands that we sampled. Some of the water we saw that had pictures of mountains on it, it was city tap water. Glacier water came from groundwater in Florida. Some of them said that they were pure mountain. I mean, the list is very long. We found a case in Massachusetts where a guy had sunk a well in an industrial parking lot that was near a Superfund site. He was pumping water out of this well and selling it under multiple different brands. So people buying this stuff had no idea where it was coming from.
An excerpt of the new documentary, Flow for Love of Water. Its director is Irina Salina, and its producer is Stephen Starr. Maude Barlow, you're the chair of the board of Food and Water Watch. In this last 30 seconds, what are you doing with it?
Well, we're pushing here in the United States for a trust fund for infrastructure. The sewage disposal system in the United States, as in many countries, is in a mess. We're pushing, we have a think outside the bottle or take back the tap campaign for bottled water. We're getting restaurants to agree not to serve bottled water. And we're fighting the desalination plants, particularly in California, because it's a bad technology, it's an emission of failure, and we can do much more with conservation and caring for source water.
Maude Barlow's new book is called Blue Covenant, The Global Water Crisis and the Coming Battle for the Right to Water. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
That does it for our broadcast. Maude Barlow, our guest. Democracy Now! Is produced by Mike Burke, Sharif Abdel-Kadus, Aaron Mate, Angeli Kamet, Jeffrey Hagerman, Steve Martinez, Nicole Salazar, Robbie Karen, Mike DeFilippo, Miguel Noguera, Peter Curry's our engineer. Special thanks to Becca Staley, Rebecca Silver, Samantha Chambly, John Randolph, Kieran Krug-Meadows, Vesta Godars. Our website is democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks very much for joining us.